I have an important message for you today, those of you who are wounded. It's pretty much all of us. You know, as we go through life, there are things that hurt, and some of them keep us from going forward. We can talk about that today on Pastor Bob's Coffee Break. Steaming up my glasses. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to jump right in. Here's a comment on a comment. You know, as I read through the comments, and I try to keep up at least with today's and possibly yesterday's. I can't go back real far because there's so many comments on all the social media. But here was a comment on a comment with something I did the other day. And I was talking about forgiveness and the points for forgiveness and why the church is so important. And I made 4 points, and somebody commented that they didn't agree with any of my points, and the reasons they didn't agree, well, had nothing to do with my podcast. A lot of people comment and never watch the podcast. They just comment on my notes, which never gives you the full picture. So anyway, so here was a comment on that comment, and this person said, I totally agree with all points because I suffer from PTSD myself, and I totally feel you. Though I didn't listen to the coffee break, see, my experience is that it is best to talk to others, but even Christians could unwittingly harm you with some of what they say. I never found a church where I could feel safe and understood. That's why I feel like a loner sometimes. Always glad to hear something else than the same old, same old. Well, first of all, the thing that I would suggest the most is that you simply listen to the podcast, because I usually find the balance in there somewhere. So that would be a great idea. But let me tell you, folks, that I feel like some of you aren't hearing me. And I want to talk about that today. That the fact that I think you watch the podcast, but you don't listen. You don't allow the truth of it to begin to take root in your lives. And many of you do, and I get those messages all the time. But if you remember, for months I've been telling you to run away from abusive churches. That's not what church is. That's not what it's for. And church was meant to be a safe and a nurturing place for you. It's really important. And God didn't intend for it to be something that was traumatic. Now, it can get messy, and it always is, because we're dealing with people, and people get messy. But we talked the other day about spiritual gifts and how they feed each other. And, when we get hurt, and sometimes a person with the gift of exhortation who sees something that needs to be corrected will simply correct it. They don't always have the most tact. Some do, some don't. But there are some gifts that are more in line with that. And the gift of teaching, someone might say, well, what you're doing isn't biblical, and let me show you why. And those things are hard to hear, but they're important. But then we have those other gifts, the people that serve us, the people that have mercy with us, the people that encourage us. All of those are, wow, so important. And folks, this balance is what keeps us going and keeps us strong. Now, the one thing I want to say is that, again, you're not a victim. And how you identify yourself is so important. You know what I'm going to hold up, most likely. It's my old list, the list that I keep telling you that I want you to put somewhere where you'll always see it, that says, who am I? Because you see, many times who I say I am and who he says I am are two different things. And this list will change your life. And again, it's free, just as all of our posters are, and it's at our metal shop, which is wearefamily.com, right here. And but who am I? So, listed in your personal list of who am I should never be victim. Because you see, Christ died for that, and he knows that you don't have the strength to get through it, and that's why he gave you his unconditional love, like we were talking about the other day when we talked about forgiveness. And the bottom line is that Christ paid a huge price for your freedom. For your freedom, what does that mean? So that you don't have to be a victim, you can be a victor. You're not a victim. And we're going to talk about this more next month, but I want to make sure that we understand it in the context of the church. That you alone decide your path. You decide your path. You can take this path to victory. You can take this path to peace. And you alone decide if you want to be a victim. So, folks, the church was designed for our healing. I know, and that's foreign to a lot of you who have been so hurt by the church, but it was designed for our healing. And so when people make a blanket statement that says, I'm not going to church anymore because I feel a lot of hurt from there, and I have post-traumatic stress syndrome, and I can't handle it. Well, there's a lot of people that have that. All of us have things in our life that when we remember them, we freak out a little bit. Every one of us do. Every one of us. Some people feel a little more intensely than others. But healing is not to name ourselves victims and continue to play through the scenario. Healing is to say, I was a victim, and Jesus made me a victor, and now I have all that I need to go forward because he's given me a new identity, a new way to walk, a new way to process. So you're not a victim. So, folks, it's so important, again, that as we move through the quarantine and out into the world again, that we do it right, and that you do it right, that you don't go back to a church that abuses you, you don't go back to a spectator sport only, but that you get involved with something where people are real, where they're honest, where they can balance your life and you balance theirs, and when you find a place of love, acceptance, and forgiveness. Wow, that's important. And I really hope that you will do that. Because you see, that's the foundation of who we are. Love, his love, unconditional love, acceptance. He freely accepts us, and he said, freely accept each other. And forgiveness. He set the pace for forgiveness. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. And he gives us the capacity to forgive. We don't have ourselves. So it's really important that you do that. Now, here at Sanctuary, we're here to help. But we can't do everything. And I love the fact that we get to share some time together. We're starting a new network, and whenever you watch this, it may already be going. But we're 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can tune in and watch television. And it'll be happening soon. And we're real excited to bring that to you. And to be here for you and to be part of what you need. But we're not here for you if you're looking for a place that will simply reinforce your being a victim. We're not here to just make you feel good. We're here to help you grow. We're here to help you connect with Jesus and become a new creation. Therefore, if any man is in Christ, he's a new creation. The old is gone, the new has come. We're here to help you to turn from being a victim to being a victor. And if you continue to identify yourself as a victim, you're going to continue to go through all this stuff. You're going to continue to see everybody as a potential perpetrator. You're going to begin to look through every one of life's situations with those glasses of victim that you see victim in everything. And you're going to use it as an excuse for everything in your life. I am this way because of this that happened. Folks, don't let anybody take away your freedom. Don't let anybody make you a victim. That's why Christ died on the cross, so that you don't have to be a victim, so that you can be a victor. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. We've got 3 more days talking about the church before we get started on another subject next week. But I got some really great things to share with you these next 3 days. Some important things that I really want you to get. And I hope you've had a good time as we've gone through this. Don't forget our posters are available still. They will be forever. This is the building, this is the church. And again, it's in mugs and t-shirts and whatever, but the posters are free. Just download them. We are metalwearfamily.com. So folks, thank you for joining me once again. Love spending this time with you. And don't forget, you are blessed. So go and be a blessing.